Welcome, Exiles. Now, we just got a bunch of new information about the next league and Echoes of the Atlas, and I'm stoked about it all, and I had to wait to make this video because I was helping my dad put in the security camera system, but I'm not gonna lie, Elementalist is kind of changing my league start plans. I was telling everybody for the past month or something like that I was not going to league start Righteous Fire, because I've done like 5 or 6 Righteous Fire builds in a row for like 4 different league starts, from Mayhem League to Endless Delve to Flashback. And there's only so much Righteous Fire you can do before you're just like, I need a break from this. You know, Righteous Fire is a great skill and I need a break. But looking at Elementalists, I don't know if I can ignore this. I think it's going to be so strong on a league start, and considering we're going to have a new boss fight, new hard 10 boss arenas we're going to have to go through, I think this is going to be a perfect candidate to stomp that content, and I want to do it with Elementalist. Now let me explain why I think Elementalist is going to be so strong for Righteous Fire. First off, right off the bat, the one node that makes it so your golems are resummoned 4 seconds after being killed. This was one of the worst things about playing an Elementalist and not a Golementalist. If you were going to play an Elementalist, you needed your golems to survive, but you didn't want to spend a bunch of passives making them survive, because that's passives you weren't putting into your build. So often if you played an Elementalist and you're trying to play like an attack build or a spellcast build, your golems would just die in boss fights like Cirrus, Uber Elder, you name it. The golems would die, and it was a pain, because you're not going to stop in the middle of a boss fight and resummon the correct golems. You had to have a bunch of keybinds set up for it. It was really a pain to play. This fixes that. It means you can go into your golem nodes, you can get elemental immunity, you can get all the golem buffs, regen, percent damage, fizz reduction, crit chance, attack, and cast speed. All great things for builds, and then you can get the benefit of not losing those benefits for a very long period of time in a boss fight, because they will get resummoned automatically without you doing it with 4 seconds. This is a huge quality of life for people that want to play golem or elementalist builds without actually needing to spec into a bunch of golem life, etc. So just this alone makes the golem branch here very, very strong, because Righteous Fire benefits from the life regen, it benefits from the percent damage from a flame golem, it benefits from all the buff effect you're getting from your golems to get more fizz reduction, more damage, more life regen. Attack and cast speed feels great when you're clearing a map, and then crit chance, honestly, from an ice golem, that helped too, because that would make your elemental overload uptime much better. So those things alone was always a strong candidate for Righteous Fire, and people have made Righteous Fire builds just around basically those 2 nodes. But now, not only do we get that, but we get good nodes to go with it. So it's not like we get half an ascendancy, we're getting a full ascendancy now. For example, Mastermind of Discord, minus 25 res. This thing is huge. This can be stacked with something like a, oh, I'm forgetting the helmet name. It's the helmet that basically makes enemies get a 1.5 multiplier on their negative fire resistance. This could be huge in combination with that to really stack some really high negative fire res on enemies to make Righteous Fire deal a lot more damage. And on top of that, it also gives you regen 1% mana per second. If you don't know this, mana is always 1% base regen, and then you get a bunch of stats on your gear that says percent mana regen per second increase. So for example, if we had 100% increased mana regen, instead of regenerating 1% mana per second, we'd regen 2%. If you get stats like this, regen 1% mana per second, which is a rare thing to get, you can only get it a few different places, like Cloak of Defiance, kind of forgetting, Necromancer has it somewhere, but basically it's a rare stat, and getting it is huge. So if we had 2% base, which is what we'll have, but now when we get 100% mana regen rate, we instead get another 2% mana regen per second because of that. So this is a huge stat. If we want to go Mind Over Mana, Righteous Fire, this synergizes very well. And you don't even necessarily have to do it, but it's a great node. Just for the minus 25, the percent mana regen is icing on the cake. It feels great. On top of that, the new Heart of Discord is getting 60% AoE. You kidding me? That's amazing during mapping. 60% AoE is going to help you get a lot bigger Righteous Fire circle. Normally on a lot of my Righteous Fire builds, with decent AoE on the tree, I'm getting somewhere around 50 to 80% increased AoE. This is going to double that increase. It's not going to double the circle, right? Because it's an additive increase, but it's still going to be a significant amount more area than we normally would get in a lot of our Righteous Fire builds, and it's going to feel good, because the second we get to a boss fight when we don't need the AoE, that's when we proc Convergence. Now, Convergence is only going to be half uptime if you're doing it on a boss fight, but generally, if you're proccing Val Righteous Fire, Flame Wall, etc. onto a boss, you're going to kill that boss within the first 4 seconds for almost 90% of the boss fights, which that means that you might look at Convergence node and think, okay, this is only half uptime, it's only like a 15% more, but it really, in most practicality, it's going to feel like 30% more damage, which is huge for a node. You get the feels good of 60% AoE when you're mapping, and then getting 30% more damage when you need for the 4 seconds where you're just going to insta-wipe the boss. This node is massive as well. Now, it's not only these nodes that are good. They also added the ability for your hits to always ignite, and all damage with hits can ignite. This node here, if you wanted to do a Righteous Fire Bomber with Impulsa, if you want to do it with an Explode Chest, this node makes it so your Fizz damage can ignite, so your lightning damage can ignite. And this is going to make it so you can very easily set up an Explosion Chain Righteous Fire Bomber with just taking these 2 nodes, dropping Heart of Discord, or dropping Mastermind of Discord. Basically, you're dropping one of these. No, basically, Heart of Discord Destruction is what it would end up being. Because I think you don't want to drop the Golem nodes. The Golem nodes are probably the strongest nodes on the tree. I don't think I would drop those. So I'd probably end up dropping Heart of Destruction for Shaper of Flames to convert into a Righteous Fire Bomber. But this is going to make it very easy to become a Righteous Fire Bomber. Not only that, but they also added the Bastion of the Elements. This seems like it could be a very strong node to take defensively. I'm not too sure about how well it works with Righteous Fire. If Righteous Fire would just deplete it and make it so you couldn't regenerate it. But maybe there's some potential there where it could mix it with other builds. And it's a great node, and I just want to mention that now. We're probably not going to end up taking it, but I think there's some potential for this to be a very nice, feels-good node when it comes to giving you a lot more tankiness against elemental damage, which is a lot of times the main thing you would die to in a lot of cases. I'm not going to go over too much else. Like, the Shaper of Winter is just a node for builds that are planning on chilling people, and Shaper of Storms for shocking people. Shocking people is a nice extra damage node as well if we wanted to just mix that in for, instead of going for Mastermind of Discord. For example, if you're going for the Explosion Bomber and you're not grabbing Heart of the Destruction, it could work out mathematically that Mastermind of Discord is less damage than enemies being shocked for 15%. That's one of those things where we just have to do some math on that to figure it out. A lot of times I think the 15% would actually be more than the minus 25 res, depending on how low you're taking the enemy. All in all, Elementalist just looks so good to me for Righteous Fire, and I think I might be starting it now. We're going to see when Patch Notes comes out if anything else shakes up my interest in what I'm going to league start, but I can't help but look away from other league starts and look at Elementalist, because he's just got me so excited for playing Righteous Fire off the league start, because this is going to be, I'm tempted to say, probably one of my strongest league starting possibilities for Righteous Fire. Stronger than possibly even Chieftain that I've had in the past, because this, I just think there's so much good power in the Golem nodes, and then the Mastermind of Discord node, Heart of Destruction, all of it. It's just, it's beautiful. It's fantastic nodes, and can't look away. I'm really tempted to league start this. So that's just a heads up to you guys. If you guys are thinking about starting any of my Righteous Fire builds, I will be coming out with more information on my plans. If I end up planning to go with Elementalist, I'll work out a tree for it. I'll probably get a video up on how I'm going to league start it, basically getting to the Righteous Fire point. And then if you want to follow me as I level it up on Twitch so you can see how to do it as well, or see what an optimal way to do it is. Basically, that's my plans. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm really stoked for Elementalist, guys. That's it. Peace out. Y'all have an excellent day.